It is happening right now. Arsenal are stepping onto the pitch at the Emirates Stadium, and the weight of this moment is enormous. This is not just another Premier League Saturday. This is a game that could shift the entire direction of the title race. The situation is crystal clear. A victory tonight puts Arsenal 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. 3 points. That is the margin that separates a club in control of their own destiny from a club that is simply waiting and hoping. The kickoff is set for 5:30 in the evening, British summertime. The venue is the Emirates Stadium. The broadcaster is Sky Sports, and the opponent is Newcastle United. On the surface, this looks like a home game for a side that should be confident. But when you dig deeper into what Arsenal are carrying into this fixture, you start to understand just how much pressure is sitting on every single player wearing that red and white shirt tonight. Let us be honest about what this game means. Manchester City are not playing in the Premier League today. They are in FA Cup action. That means Arsenal have been handed something rare in a title race. They have been handed a free swing, a chance to move ahead without having to worry about what their rivals are doing simultaneously. In football, those moments do not come around often. And when they do, the great clubs take them. The question tonight is whether Arsenal are ready to be that great club. The manager is Mikel Arteta. He knows what is at stake. His players know what is at stake. The fans inside the Emirates Stadium know what is at stake. And now, watching from wherever you are in the world, you know what is at stake. This is the moment. This is the game. And we are going to break it down completely so that by the time you finish watching this video, you will understand every layer of what Arsenal are dealing with tonight. Now, let us talk about the stakes, because this is where it gets really interesting from an analytical perspective. If Arsenal win tonight, they go 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League. 3 points. In a title race, that is a gap that starts to feel psychological as much as it feels mathematical. It forces pressure onto every other team chasing them. It means that for at least one weekend, Arsenal are alone at the summit, looking down at the rest of the division. But if Arsenal drop points tonight against Newcastle at home, with Manchester City not even playing, the narrative around this club changes instantly. The conversation shifts from Arsenal as title contenders to Arsenal as a team that cannot take their chances when they are handed to them. That is a brutal judgment, but it is the reality of competing at the very top of the English game. The evidence suggests that Arteta understands this completely. His team selection, his preparation, his public comments all point to a manager who is treating this fixture with the full weight it deserves. And we are going to go through every detail of that preparation right now. But before we do, I want to say something directly to you. If you are watching this channel for the first time and you want this level of detailed, honest, evidence-based analysis every single time a big Arsenal story breaks, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is called Jessica Arsenal Analyst because the commitment here is to go deeper than the headlines, to look at the facts, to give you the real picture. Subscribe and you will never miss a breakdown like this one. Now let us get back into it. The injury situation and what it really means. The first thing any serious analyst looks at before a game of this magnitude is the injury list. Because you can have the best tactics in the world, the best stadium, the best atmosphere, but if your key players are not available, none of that matters. So let us go through exactly where Arsenal stand physically going into this game. The situation with Bukayo Saka is the story that every Arsenal supporter has been watching most closely over the past few weeks. Saka has been dealing with an Achilles injury. That is a serious area of the body for a winger. The Achilles is under enormous stress every time a player accelerates, every time they cut inside, every time they push off to create separation from a defender. An Achilles problem for a player like Saka is not something you rush. And Arsenal have clearly not been rushing it. The last time Saka featured for this club was in the Carabao Cup final. Think about that for a moment. The Carabao Cup final was a massive occasion, a showpiece event, and that was the last time the Arsenal number 7 was involved in a game. He has not featured since then. That tells you everything about how seriously his medical team has been treating this injury. They have not taken any chances with him. They have protected him, managed him, and brought him back carefully. And now, heading into this Newcastle fixture, the news has changed. Arteta confirmed it himself in his pre-match press conference on Friday. The exact words from the manager were, "Bukayo is probably going to be in the squad, so good news." Those words, good news, coming from a manager who is usually measured and precise in his language, carry real weight. Arteta does not say things carelessly in press conferences. When he says good news, he means it. Saka is back in the matchday squad. But here is where the analysis becomes important, because this is the detail that separates genuine football understanding from surface-level reporting. The fact that Saka is in the squad does not automatically mean he starts. It is now clear that despite his return to availability, it is unlikely that he walks straight back into the starting 11 tonight. And when you think about this logically, that makes complete sense. A player recovering from an Achilles injury has not played competitive football for several weeks. His match sharpness will not be at the level required for a high-intensity Premier League fixture against a physical Newcastle side. His body needs to find its rhythm again in a live game environment. Starting him tonight, throwing him into the pressure of a potential title-defining match, could risk a setback that Arsenal simply cannot afford. The smart move, the analytical move, is to have him available from the bench, to use him as an impact substitute if the game requires it, to protect him while also having that option available. That is what all the evidence points toward. Saka is in the squad. Saka will not start. But Saka is back, and that alone changes the dynamic of this Arsenal team in the coming weeks. Now let us move to the second injury boost, because Arsenal are getting more than one piece of good news heading into this fixture. Riccardo Calafiori is also expected to return to the matchday squad tonight. This is significant. Calafiori has missed the last 3 games for Arsenal. 3 consecutive fixtures without one of your defensive options is a real challenge for any manager. The fact that he is now fit and available again gives Arteta more depth, more flexibility, more choices. Arteta addressed this directly in his press conference as well. His words were probably in the squad as well when asked about Calafiori. So again, this is not speculation. This is not an assumption. This is the manager of Arsenal Football Club confirming in his own words that this player is returning to availability. But while the news on Saka and Calafiori is positive, there is still one significant absence that Arsenal must manage tonight. Jurriën Timber remains unavailable. Timber has been dealing with a groin injury, and while the evidence suggests he is closing in on a return, tonight comes too soon for him. Arteta was unambiguous about this in his press conference. When asked about Timber, the response was direct. Jurriën not in the squad. No ambiguity. No uncertainty. Timber's out. This matters because Timber is a versatile, technically capable defender who gives Arsenal options in multiple positions. His absence means that Arteta must work within a specific set of choices at the back. And the manager has clearly made his decisions about how to handle that. It is also worth noting that Merino remains injured. So Arsenal are still carrying 2 confirmed absentees into this game. But the returns of Saka and Calafiori to the squad at least give the manager more to work with than he has had in recent weeks. The tactical picture. Now let us talk about the tactical decisions that Arteta is facing tonight, because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating from an analytical perspective. The previous weekend, Arsenal played against Manchester City. That was a major fixture in its own right. And the evidence from that game tells us something important about how Arteta is thinking about his team right now. The attacking formula that Arsenal used against City was, according to the information available, largely a success. The approach worked. Arsenal created opportunities. They were in the game. The problem, and this is a critical detail, was in front of goal. Arsenal were poor at converting their chances. That is a specific and important distinction to make. It is the difference between a system that is broken and a system that is working but not finishing. The system is not broken. Arsenal's structure, their pressing, their movement, their chance creation, all of that functioned. The final product let them down. And a manager of Arteta's quality knows the difference between those 2 things. So the question becomes, does he change the approach entirely because of the missed chances, or does he stick with what is working and trust his players to be more clinical? The evidence suggests he is going with continuity. The expectation is that Arteta sticks with the attacking formula that was used against City last weekend. Let us go through the predicted lineup in detail because every position tells a story. In goal, David Raya. There is no debate here. Raya is the established first-choice goalkeeper for this Arsenal side. He is in the predicted lineup, and that is exactly where you would expect him to be in a game of this importance. Across the back 4, the predicted selection is Ben White at right back, William Saliba and Gabriel as the central defensive partnership, and Hincapi at left back. The central defensive pairing of Saliba and Gabriel is one of the strongest partnerships in the Premier League. When those 2 are fit and available and playing together, Arsenal have a defensive foundation that is genuinely difficult to break down. Their communication, their positioning, their ability to deal with aerial threats and through balls, all of it is at a very high level. In the midfield, the predicted selection is Zubimendi alongside Declan Rice. This is a midfield partnership built on control and protection. Zubimendi is a player who excels at screening the defense, winning the ball back in his own half, and recycling possession quickly and efficiently. Rice brings power, intensity, and the ability to carry the ball forward when the situation demands it. Together, they give Arsenal a midfield platform that is balanced and difficult to play through. In the attacking positions, the predicted lineup has Madueke on the right wing, Martin Odegaard at number 10, Eberechi Eze on the left wing, and Kai Havertz leading the line as the central striker. Let us unpack each of these choices. Odegaard is the captain, the creative heartbeat of this Arsenal side. He returned from a knee injury in the fixture against Manchester City at the Etihad. That return from injury at a ground as difficult as the Etihad, in a fixture as pressurised as that one, tells you something about where Odegaard is physically and mentally right now. The evidence suggests he came through that game in good shape, because the expectation is that he continues in the number 10 role tonight. A clear midweek, meaning no midweek fixture to recover from, will have done him good. He should be sharp and ready. Eberechi Eze is predicted to start on the left wing. This is an interesting selection because it speaks to the depth of quality that Arsenal now have in attacking positions. Eze is a player with genuine technical ability, with the capacity to take on defenders, to play in tight spaces, and to create danger from wide areas. His inclusion on the left gives Arsenal a different kind of threat compared to what they might offer with other options. Kai Havertz is predicted to lead the line as the central striker. And this is one of the most significant analytical points of this entire breakdown. The evidence indicates that Havertz is being selected ahead of Victor Gyökeres to lead the attacking line. This is a deliberate choice by Arteta. Havertz is a different type of striker. He links play, he drops deep, he creates space for others. He is involved in the build-up in a way that a more traditional striker might not be. Whether that profile is the right fit for a game against Newcastle, a side that can be very organised defensively, is something the match itself will answer. But the selection tells us that Arteta trusts Havertz in this role in this moment. And as an analyst, you have to respect a manager who shows that kind of clarity and conviction in his decision-making. The broader context of this moment, let us step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. Because individual tactical choices only make sense when you understand the broader context they exist within. Arsenal are at the top of the Premier League table or within touching distance of it. Manchester City, one of their primary rivals in the title race, are not playing in the league this weekend. They are in FA Cup action. That means this is a direct opportunity for Arsenal to extend their lead. A 3-point gap at the top of the table, with the kind of quality Arsenal have in this squad, is a gap that matters. It is a gap that creates pressure on everyone behind them. The reality for the club is that moments like this, where your rivals are otherwise occupied and you are playing at home, do not come around every weekend. The Premier League calendar is relentless. There are always more games, always more pressure, always more moments where you need to perform. But right now, on this specific Saturday evening, Arsenal have a cleaner path than usual. They need to walk through that door. Mikel Arteta is a manager who has built this Arsenal squad with a specific identity in mind. A high-pressing, technically progressive, attacking-minded style of football that is built on a solid defensive foundation. Tonight against Newcastle, that identity will be tested again. Newcastle are not a team that will simply roll over. They are organised, they are physical, they can cause problems on the counter-attack. Arsenal will need to be at their best to get the result that this opportunity demands. But the evidence from recent weeks suggests that Arsenal have the tools. They have the goalkeeper. They have the defensive partnership. They have the midfield protection. They have the creative quality at number 10. They have the attacking threat from wide areas. And they have the striker in the form of Havertz to lead the line. The one thing that has been missing in recent games, based on what the facts tell us, is the clinical edge in front of goal. Arsenal created chances against Manchester City. They just did not take them. Tonight, against Newcastle, that has to change. Because in a title race, leaving points on the table when your rivals are not playing is the kind of mistake that you look back on at the end of the season and regret deeply. The return of Saka and what it means going forward. Before we close out this analysis, I want to spend a little more time on the Saka situation. Because while his impact on tonight's game might be limited to a potential substitute appearance, the broader significance of his return to the squad cannot be overstated. Bukayo Saka is the Arsenal number 7. He is one of the most important players at this football club. His presence, even on the bench, changes the dynamic of a game. Defenders know he is there. They know that if the game is tight and Arsenal need a moment of quality, Saka could come on and provide it. That knowledge, that awareness, has a psychological effect on the opposition. It is a factor that exists even before Saka touches the ball. And looking beyond tonight, Saka's return to the squad is the first step toward getting him back to full match fitness. The process from being in the squad to starting games to being back to your best level takes time. But that process has now begun. Arsenal fans have been waiting for this moment. The manager has been managing his recovery carefully. And now, at a moment when Arsenal have a genuine chance to take control of the title race, their number 7 is stepping back toward availability. That is not a coincidence. That is good management of a player in a situation. And it is one of the most encouraging signs for Arsenal supporters heading into the final stretch of this Premier League season. The situation with Calafiori returning to the squad adds another layer of depth and resilience to this squad. When players who have been absent start coming back, it gives the manager more options, more flexibility, more ability to adapt within games and between games. Arsenal needed those returns, and they have arrived at exactly the right time. Arsenal face Newcastle tonight at 5:30 in the evening at the Emirates Stadium. The match is live on Sky Sports. Manchester City are in FA Cup action this weekend, meaning Arsenal can go 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League table with a victory. The squad receives a double injury boost, with Bukayo Saka and Ricardo Calafiori both returning to the matchday squad. Saka is unlikely to start, but is available from the bench. Calafiori is back in the fold after missing 3 consecutive games. Jurriën Timber remains unavailable due to a groin injury, and Merino is also still sidelined. The predicted lineup sees Raya in goal, a back 4 of White, Saliba, Gabriel and Hincapi, a midfield partnership of Zubimendi and Rice, and an attacking line of Madueke, Odegaard and Eze behind Havertz as the central striker. Arteta is expected to stick with the attacking formula that performed well against Manchester City last weekend, despite Arsenal being poor at converting their chances in that game. This is a moment of genuine significance in Arsenal's Premier League season. The opportunity is there. The squad is in better shape than it has been in recent weeks. The manager has made his decisions. Now it comes down to the players to deliver on the pitch. The evidence suggests Arsenal have the quality to win this game. The question is whether they can translate that quality into the goals and the result that this moment demands. This is Jessica, Arsenal analyst. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe to the channel so you never miss analysis like this. Every major Arsenal story, every big tactical question, every moment that matters in this title race, we break it all down right here. Share this video with every Arsenal fan you know, and we will see you in